Hey guys, before we get into today's episode, it's a really fantastic and open conversation with a jockey called Danny Peisley. We do discuss drug addiction and suicide. So if these topics are triggering for you, it might be worth giving this one a miss. But other than that, we hope you really enjoy it.
How are we, ladies and gentlemen listeners? Welcome to the Leg Up Australia podcast.
1, 2, 3. Can he do it? The gloves are off. They go toe to toe, blow for blow. He's clear. His big heart pounding. Yes. 2 for 3. The Tripper makes it 3 in a row.
We have a very, very interesting show today. Nick, Lloyd, Sam Wood, Adam Campton, as usual, and joined by Danny Peisley. Welcome, mate. Thank you for coming along.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
So Campo kind of got in touch with us at the week and said, listen, I want to bring someone in, and got a remarkable story, mate. We're really, really keen to kind of just go through your journey and where you started and kind of the adversity you've kind of had to overcome, and we'll get into that. But what do you... Take us back to the beginning. So what are you doing now? You're riding up here. You're on the Goldie.
Yeah, I moved to the Gold Coast about 6 months ago, and I spread myself around for a while there, and now I'm just riding track work daily, and focusing more on race rides.
Yeah. How did you get into it? Is it something you've been doing your whole life? Or?
Well, my dad was a trainer in his early days, so he used to take me and my other brothers to the races, and I was just always there, and I was small, and I was just always wanted to be a jockey from that age. I'm like, that's what I want to do,
Yeah.
And
Well, you're 15, weren't you? Just in the car?
yeah, I was 15 when I just decided to start going away and to be a jockey. Like, I wasn't much really good in school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't very smart, or
Especially if you had your head over there, wanted to be a jockey.
yeah, that's right. Like, just struggled to listen. I was too busy distracted or playing up or something in school,
Yeah.
Who was your master?
Danny Bowen.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
he become, early before that, I had a few masters sort of to get going, Grant Prosser.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I was out at Tamworth with Sue Grills, and I just bounced around a little bit just to start with, and until I started riding. But once I started riding, it was Danny Bowen, and I ended up finishing my career with Les Ross and Lyle Plum.
Oh, did you? I didn't know that. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So when and now you still ride a lot for Danny Bowen and Les Ross as well?
Yeah, they both put me on now. I've still got a good relationship with both of them. They helped me a lot in the early days, and they've always kept the respect for me that I've had for them.
Before we get into everything serious, if you haven't seen the trials from Tuesday, Danny was actually a bull rider on Tuesday for a couple of races. But
We'll whack the replay up here.
we'll put the replay up. But like, what I admire so much about Danny, I really do admire. Probably don't tell you that all the time, but he comes to the track. Could be 3:30 in the morning. A lot of people don't like saying good morning. That's how they want to be. Danny Paisley walks in, smile on his face, every single morning, treats every person the same. It doesn't matter if they're the CEO or the bloody janitor. He treats everyone, as equal as they are. And watching him on Tuesday out there at the trials, one took off in front of him and it kicked him in the ankle. I thought his ankle was snapped the way he looked at me over the fence. So I jumped the fence. I'm not very agile. Grabbed hold of the 2-year-old.
35 seconds to get over the
Wait
fence.
there, I'm going to jump this fence.
Next minute, Danny's on my arm. I've got hold of this horse, and he's like, I think it's broken. The sound it made was, I thought it was snapped. He took the boot off. I said, probably don't take the boot off. He took it off. He pressed here and there. There's Ross said, you'll be right. He went, I'll be right. Got straight back up and got on the horse. And went around and rode in the trials.
Shit.
And then rode at Ballina.
Yeah, yep.
So I think that's enough to say his work ethic and his toughness is something I think, the reason why I told you guys why we should do something like of course you love hearing about, Jimmy Orman and all them. Yes, they're good people, but you hear about them all the time. These are the people who I believe, work their ass off. They don't get the accolades that they probably deserve.
Yeah.
And I think Danny's story is something that, there might be a few people out there who are struggling a bit and, might need mates to talk to. And I think Danny will make them come out and have a chat.
I think we get we do have quite a lot of industry people that listen to this potty, and there's a lot more people out there like you doing those hard yards than the ones that are at the top, you know. And I think to hear, I suppose, where your journey changed. Obviously, you were wanting to be a jockey. You came from where'd you grow up?
I grew up down in Port Macquarie.
Yeah.
I grew up there till I was 15, and started going away to be a jockey, and then I was in the racing career from then onwards, and then it was sort of just growing up in my 18s to 20s. Was Ballina, then up to Brisbane.
Yeah. And is that kind of when the journey of becoming a jockey kind of took a bit of a turn, and you found other vices?
Well, my say drug habit or my addiction or something like that probably started at a young age. Really, I was smoking pot early in school and stuff like that, and and sort of. What stopped me smoking pot was sort of the racing industry. I come into the racing industry, they drug test there.
Yeah.
It was the best thing for me. It's a good career to be in. And I didn't take. I stopped using drugs and stuff for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
But I started getting to when I was 19 and stuff like that, and I was taking, ecstasies and stuff like that, or a bit of speed or something, just on, recreational.
Yeah.
And
still riding as well. Like, were you you're going out at night and then turning up the next morning? Or
I was living a double life really. It's good, I was riding, plus I'm wanting to party, plus I'm chasing Sheilas, and I'm just distracted with everything, and. I believe now, sort of looking back at everything, like I was just never ever fully, in the zone in my career. Even though I had a lot of success, I started riding well and out there, but I was just never really there. And every time I started going real good, I'd self-destruct it with the drugs, But, my career sort of started, taking the turn sort of not long after I came out of my apprenticeship and, become a senior rider. And, I eventually got a positive swab for drugs, and that took a big toll on me. It sort of progressed.
How long were you out for?
From then, I got a 12-month suspension for that one. Well, for that positive, and I was out for 12 months, but in that 12 months, I was 24, 25, and the drugs become a big problem. Like I was finally at a age and place where like I wasn't getting drug tested. I didn't have a career to worry about. I could get. The reins could be given to me for the first time since I was 15. And, I thought I'd just party for 12 months and then just stop and go back riding.
Yeah, shit.
That was sort of the delusion I was in.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is like that 12-month suspension, while it sort of might have seemed like the necessary time of, length of suspension, but it's almost the worst thing that could have happened for that 12 months to be off for so long. If it had have been a 1-month break, you probably think, it's only a month, I'll be back into it in no time.
Yeah, well, at the time I did get done for the positive, like, I was on a 2-week suspension from careless riding. Like, I was unlucky. I can be sit here and be a victim and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I took the drugs. Do you mean I got busted, blah, blah, blah.
What did you get busted? Like, was that like... Do you know, like, were you out partying and you're on ecstasy at that stage?
I got suspended Boxing Day, so I was off for New Year's.
Yeah.
And New Year's on the Saturday, and I wasn't riding to the next Friday. So, like, I got on the drugs on New Year's. I wasn't riding for 6 days, and then when I was back riding, thinking the drugs would be out, like, I'm all sweet and and then it showed up.
But, like, in saying that, what Nick said, it probably was... this, but you probably look back now, it's probably one thing that's defined you as who you are today.
Oh, look, I had a massive, rock bottoms from them onwards. But, how I changed it, turned it around 3.5 years ago to how I am now, I just grew up, I just think it's just taken me, it took me a little bit long to mature and grow up.
Yeah.
That's all it took.
How old are you now?
I'm 36 now.
Well,
So take us so when you say rock bottom, is that during that 12-month suspension, or is that is that the launch pad to kind of?
Not really. My sort of, that 12-month suspension was great. Fuck, I was partying, I was working, I was, I'm really capable with I can drive truck and dogs. I can, I can drive machinery. So I still kept working, and I had a lot of friends. So there was a lot of partying, and I had a good time. That's the truth. But when it became a problem, and I realised that is when I was that time was nearly finished, and I wanted to stop, and I couldn't. Then it started really becoming a problem. I just started using harder. So
you went using them harder or using harder drugs?
Well, just I was already using the hard drugs.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
So what is the hard drugs? Is that ice? Is that
ice? I suppose it's ice and heroin's probably the hardest drugs. Yeah, well, there's really only ice and heroin and ecstasy out these days, and coke. Yeah. There's not much more to choose from these days.
Yeah, right. So that when you're saying, and that I suppose for a lot of people listening, they think maybe ecstasy and cocaine is partying, but there's a lot of people out there that probably know that those harder drugs are the things that, the depths that you can go to. So are you using every day at this stage?
Well, I was using when I could, and that I'd probably have. Well, yeah, I'd probably be using every day. Yeah, whether it's
and mix it with alcohol,
whether it's ice or whether it's alcohol,
yeah,
or whether it's just smoking pot,
yeah.
I was always putting something in my body because, I just wasn't handling the way I felt. You know, I wasn't handling my emotions very well, and I'm aware of all that now.
Yeah.
Where
were you when you got your 12 months? Were you just go back to Port?
Yeah, I was back in Port Macquarie, and
so you're with a lot of friends and a lot of people around that you could kind of find a party whenever you wanted to, and
but how I partied, I lost a lot of relationships because I went a little bit too hard, to be around, I've been doing a lot of work on it lately, and mostly around family and stuff like that. But I probably made it a bit unsafe for them to be around me.
Yeah.
When I was using drugs and stuff like that.
And it can't stress this enough. So anyone listening to this podcast is kind of, it is a pure illness.
Oh,
isn't it?
Terrible,
and you'll have to kind of feed it almost every day to kind of keep away.
Yeah. Well,
people just say, you can just get off it, but
it doesn't happen.
No, it's tough. As life and life terms is hard. Death's hard. Things are hard to deal with. Whether you got a business, whether you just trying to hold a relationship together. Intimate or normal relationship. Yeah. Even just turning up for work, taking responsibility and turning up for work.
Yeah.
Can be tough sometimes, and using drugs just takes you out of that, takes you out of your head, and it seems easy at the time, just using drugs and partying and rah. But
so that 12 months where you kind of let yourself go and almost plan to kind of pick it back up on the other end of the suspension. How long did that, so did you, after that 12 months, did you start riding again?
Oh, I tried, but I was just swapping and changing drugs. Yeah, I got off the ice, but I was drinking alcohol hard. I was smoking synthetic weed, which wasn't showing up. It was just really messy just from then onwards. I can go right into that, but from that suspension when I was 20, almost 25 to, when I went to rehab at 33.
Yeah.
There was a couple of little stinks coming back riding, but, it was just really dark, really grim, and
kind of like 8 or 9 years of
yeah,
real
just flat out,
adversity.
just using daily. Whether it was putting something in my body.
Like on the way here, Danny said, like I said, how long, like, you know, how long's a bend to go for? Like, how, you know, what it, you know, obviously never tried drugs, anything like that. Like, it's obviously so crazy. And he said 6 years went, it was 6 years and it was just, it was
like,
just done.
Just 6 years of your life that
well,
you
like,
kind of...
it ended up working. I remember, like, you know, I was a bit hard on myself my first year of recovery and stuff like that because, like, you know, after you stop using drugs and alcohol for a little bit, well, like, it's been ages since I used drugs, like probably, you know, 4.5 years or more. I can't really remember, but, you know, since I stopped putting alcohol in my system, it's been 3.5 years on the day-to-day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like 1,200.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Like,
that's fantastic.
1,277 days.
Yeah, good
You know, but like that, I look back from when I got done to, you know, 8 years later, it was just like flicking my hands and like clicking my fingers, and it was just gone. And I remember more from like 15 to 24, like my life, and then being in that hole and going down that rabbit hole, as they call it. And,
do you look back now on the person you were back then and think, geez, I would never want to hang around a person like that, or?
Not really. I'd probably help a person like that now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with the tools I've been given and the knowledge I know. Like, I wouldn't know what I know now if I didn't go down that road. Like, if I didn't get into recovery.
Yeah.
Like, recovery's taught me everything. Like, you know, I wouldn't even go back to when I was any age, you know. I've learned so much since I've been clean and sober.
Yeah.
Then I've learned my whole life. Like, you know, I've learned to read. You know, I've learned a lot about myself.
Yeah.
You know, who I am in the world, all my defects of character. You know, my assets, me good stuff.
And you just, like, a part of kind of recovery was just accepting that's you. You know, that's a part of your journey, and now this is a new part of your journey.
Well, like, yeah, acceptance, yeah, not fucking getting the whip out and giving me a belt and about you're a drug addict, you're fucking alcoholic, you done this. It's just about, like they say, get the feather duster out and sort of use that, you know. Be kind to yourself, be gentle on yourself, going, look. And at the end of the day, like, me taking drugs or me, you know, me being a drug addict or me being an alcoholic, you know, what defect carry is just like a really small part of who I am. Do you know what I mean? That become a big problem and a big part of my life. Yeah. You know, but it's just a really small part of me, you know, that likes drugs, that likes alcohol.
Yeah. Like,
you know?
Danny lived next to Taylor, if you don't mind me saying this. He lived next to Taylor when I first got with Taylor. And to knowing Danny then, like, Danny was always so respectful and a good guy. Yeah. But it was like you're like a zombie in a way, weren't you? Like,
of course, you're just on autopilot.
You just talk to him, you pretty much were talking through him. To the person now, six years later, sort of thing. Now, I think it's incredible.
So during those 6 or 8 years, like you, and we don't have to talk about this, and you know, we can move on to kind of, I suppose, the part of the story that a lot of people want to hear is how you got to being kind of sober and that. But during that 6 to 8 years, like, where were you? Like, are you still around family? Are you in Port Macquarie or?
Yeah, I was sort of just around. I was in Port Macquarie to start with, and then it was sort of like, you know, I kept having to run away from things. You know, it got a bit of a problem in Port and I was blaming everyone. You know, so I thought I'll move towns and, you know, the problem will go and it'll be all right. But then when I moved, you know, I just found it there.
Just
you know,
new problems.
The drugs there, then it just happened there. And, you know, I'd be jumping to relationships to try and, you know.
Trying to push everything behind.
Taking hostages, like, you know, jumping and thinking a relationship would fix it. And,
those drugs are just obviously masking everything because you just wouldn't have thought about anything.
Yeah, that's right. Like no matter where I went, the drugs followed.
Yeah.
Like, the drugs weren't the problem, the alcohol wasn't the problem, like, I was the problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's, you know, what I'm aware of now.
Yeah.
You know, but I wasn't aware of it then. I thought it was, you know, I thought I was in denial, like I didn't have a problem. And,
Yeah. Was there a part there that kind of you look back on now that was like that kind of wake up moment, like maybe rock bottom, where you sat there and said, you know, I can't keep living like this?
yeah, I do remember sort of that time when I realised, but I was when I first realised that I'm a junkie, right? Yeah. This is past all that ice and stuff like that. I sort of, you know, I got into the heroin.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I was in like a family, you know, space when I was on the heroin, and I was using daily, and you know, there was a lot of behaviours going around that, and you know, the girl I was with got pregnant, so like, yeah, I'm expecting to have a kid, and I just sort of, you know, remember just looking in the mirror, and like at this stage, like, yeah, I was injecting, and I just remember looking in the mirror and like seeing these track marks on my arms and just seeing the way I looked, and I'm thinking, fuck, like it was just really clear and obvious that I had a drug problem, that I'm a junkie, and like there's no way in the world I don't want my kids. I didn't. Yeah, I had visions of, you know, what my life would be like, and I didn't have a vision of like having kids and being in a drug addict thing like that. You know, you know, I didn't have a vision of like, you know, my kids growing up around a drug addict dad, you know, with needles and shit around, like stuff like that. You know, being in a bad environment, because I wasn't role modelled that by my parents. And
and obviously a lot to unpack there. You know, the birth of, it's your son, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that obviously changing that. But where did it leave your parents? Like, was there a point in time where they saw you like this, or was it kind of?
Yeah, well, that like it was around that time. I remember Mum and Dad come up. You know, that like I was always pretty honest. Like they were against drugs and alcohol, or against me taking drugs. But around that time as well, like I remember Mum and Dad come up and visit, and I remember Mum grabbed me on the arm and then felt something, a lump or something. She says, "What's that?" I said, "Oh, it's nothing." And then like Dad turned around and says, "Fucking track marks, Ellen," like to me, Mum, and it was like, I look back on that now and it's like really like sad and hurt, you know. But at the time I was like, whatever, don't worry about it. And like, you know, there's how sick I was, you know. Like I was like, don't worry about it. Like, didn't even have enough respect to care what my parents thought about it. You know, I wasn't respecting myself. I didn't care about myself.
Yeah, if you didn't care about yourself,
I'm not going to care what they think. Yeah.
And if they, so back to what you were saying before about, so you're expecting your son, the arrival of your son, and you kind of, you know, you realise that was you wanted to make a change from there.
Yes.
And so what was the start of that kind of, that trail, that comeback trail to kind of get you?
Well, it didn't sort of start there. It sort of, it took a little bit, sort of, you know, my son was born, you know, I still used until he was like 9 months, and
it's incredibly difficult, isn't it? Like
it was definitely
that's
that's
not
right.
how it works, and we understand.
But I sort of had to run away again from where I was at, and you know, Brisbane, where I was, you know, around the people.
Yeah.
And I moved back home to my parents, and sort of I stopped using drugs again. I started seeing a counsellor. You know, but I was drinking. You know, I straight away swapped it back to drinking. Yeah. You know,
it's just as bad.
And it's just as bad. Like, you know, I don't turn up for work. I'm not reliable. Like, you know, I'm drunk all the time. Like, it just is exactly the same as, you know, the drugs are, you know, as bad for me as the drugs were as the alcohol was, you know. you know, and then once I was, you know, me mum was taking me out. I gave my parents hell then. You know, I was waiting to get into a rehab, and I was trying. You know, I was trying to stop, but I just couldn't. And then I went to rehab. You know, the day on my birthday when I turned 33, I went to rehab, and sort of my journey started there.
Yeah, okay.
But I just thought I'd just go to rehab, I'll do a bit of rehab, and, you know, I'll get out, and then that's it. Everything will be fine. I can use and drink again, but all the drama will stop.
Yeah, okay.
That's sort of what I thought.
Yeah, it's quite a delusion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you thought you'd come out and you'd be able to control any use that you had of drugs and alcohol, or you just thought that?
Well, I just thought, yeah. I thought it'll be right. Like I'll do some rehab, then I'll get out, and then I'll be able to control it and stuff like that. But you know, they taught me a lot in rehab. Like I went there, I had a big surrender when I went there, and like I really wanted to stop, and I just sort of just sat and listened and was honest, and like I've always been honest, you know, brutally honest, and you know, I just done everything rehab told me to do, and I was taught, you know, and they really helped me. That sort of said, you know, we can get you clean and that, but like how you stay clean is, you know, you got to run, you know, work a 12-step program, and you know, I've been doing that. You know, I still do it now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Danny, you see him going in the morning, he'll go, do you still call it rehab, or you go to your class?
No, well, rehab was at the start. That just got me off the drugs, and sort of the 12-step program, what I'm in now, which I shouldn't advertise, but that's why I say 12-step program, but there's a lot of 12-step programs, Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah, is it AA or NA?
AA, NA, there's Gamblers Anonymous, there's a heap of ones, but I'm in a 12-step program that works for me.
Right.
You know, and I just, you know, follow that by the best of my ability, and sort of hang around the people in that. You know, it's good fellowship, and you know, you know, I just do a lot of work on myself through that, and you know, keep myself in check and keep me on the right path.
So, take us back to like 3.5 years ago, where you say that you. So actually, when you came out of rehab, what was that? Mm-hmm. What was that like? Was that?
Well, did you know straight away?
Did I know
straight away that you're going to fix yourself
in rehab?
Yeah, when you sort of worked out, you thought, "Oh, this is."
Well, yeah, I was after a little bit in rehab, I was confident.
Yeah,
I'm still confident now, staying clean.
Yeah,
I'm confident, but I'm not.
Not over the bridge.
I know. I can leave here today and be on it this afternoon.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be hard. This could trigger me. But like I done the right things. Like I called me sponsor and stuff like that. Like before I come here. But how it sort of happened for me is like when I went to rehab. I stopped the drugs, but I just picked up a relationship straight away. Do you know what I mean? The next closest thing to a drug you can get.
Yeah.
A Sheila. And that's sort of how, I left rehab. I done 7 months in rehab, and then I got kicked out a week before I was finished for relationships.
Right, okay.
which it didn't bother me. I had a gut full of the joint. And
right.
and I knew I wasn't going to use. I knew what to do, and I'm a person that sort of puts myself out there. So like I already made connections with the fellowship.
Yeah.
Out on in the community anyway.
Yeah.
So when I got out, I just started doing 2 meetings a day.
Yeah. So so that journey. So start us from there. So you walked out. How hard is it to get work again? Or to get back? Sorry, how hard is it to get riding again? Because obviously there'd be a lot of relationships to be repaired in your personal life, but also in your professional life.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's been a massive journey back for me, but a really good one, and a sad one too. Trying to get my license back, finally getting approved for it. And then I got my license back. I was able to ride track workers and trials,
Yeah.
And then it's like, you know, I couldn't jump straight into work flat out because I'd look after my recovery, you know.
Yeah.
So I just had to have that balance of like doing a couple of days a week to start with, and really transitioning myself into work to start with.
Yeah.
Which seemed easy at the start, and you know, it seemed like it was going to, you know, go well. It was going well. I was getting some money. I was working. I was back in the racing game. I was happy. You know, and then once I started race riding, it was great. You know, it sort of took me a little bit at the start when I was race riding to really relax, not try so hard and stuff like that, and you know, and at the time, like, it was when all the floods are at Northern Rivers and there.
Yeah.
So like I've been back race riding, you know, 3-6 months or something, and then all the floods started hitting. So you know, it was a bit of a grind for me.
Yeah, that would have been real testing as well. Like, I'm sure you're repairing relationships and making a lot of things right, but you've still got to earn a living, and that makes it harder again.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. And you didn't relapse or anything during that period?
No, it didn't. I didn't relapse in that period. I haven't relapsed since rehab. Oh, well, I haven't relapsed since I stopped using. Like, there was a sad, like, I remember just before I was like at 11 months and, you know, a week or something, you know, and I was at home, and I was about to go to a meeting actually, and, you know, I get a phone call, and you know, it was a tragic phone call. Like, I get a phone call off my dad, and I remember him. Oh, I'm nearly crying now thinking of it, emotional, and he just told me my oldest brother hung himself. You know, he hung himself last night, and which was really sad, and, you know, but I got through that there without relapse, and, you know, there was
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that was like 11 months after you'd started your rehab.
Yeah, I wasn't even a year
pretty new
clean
year,
and
like,
sober. Yeah, I remember there was one close call. I was sort of, you know, 3 weeks after he hung himself, I remember I was just bawling my eyes out outside a tough one.
You're remembering it now,
outside of Bottle, you know, looking up a motel because I was living in a recovery house, looking at a motel to go and stay in and just get some drinks.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was just lucky enough that, you know, one of my support networks come to me. You know, he talked me down enough to call me sponsor, and he talked me enough to get through the day. I got nursed through this time.
Yeah.
Because I was
been one of the most important phone calls of your life.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, I was really lucky. I had the fellowship with me, and the program held me.
Yeah.
And
just before you, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Like, I said to you this before we jumped on. Like, I know we've had interviews on here before, and even little things, like even parts that you might think don't mean anything, can help people. We've had so many people in the past reach out, like, you know, that when you said that or that really helped me for whatever stage I was going through. And who knows if, you know, if someone's listening to this right now and they're going through a similar situation, like, so, you know, we thank you for being so honest, but I think, you know, having conversations like this is doing a lot of people a lot of good, so we appreciate
men
that.
are so probably we're stubborn.
Yeah,
well, we're taught to, you know, push down our emotions and that there. Like,
Keep kicking on.
I grew up, you know, every time I was sad or something like that, we said, fucking wake up yourself, keep going, do this.
get working, get
Don't
moving.
be sad, fucking
Yeah.
whatever, just move on, just get on with it, you know.
Yeah.
Besides, you know, recognising that, you know, I'm sad.
Where does it start, Dan? Like, say if someone's listening, they want help. Is it you have to help yourself first and then reach for help, or is it?
No, well, if somebody wants help, like, it's quite easily, all they got to do is, you know, say it.
Yeah.
I need help. You know, like not only me getting clean helps me, but since I've been clean, me getting clean has helped others as well.
Yeah.
Just by me getting clean.
Yeah.
Like there's been people in the racing game. I'll tell you a story, right? Like this is just one out of about 5 or 6 people in the racing game that sort of come to me for help so far, and I've showed them the door and this and that.
Okay.
And there was a bloke that come to me, sort of couldn't believe that I was clean and that there because he's seen how hectic I was.
Yeah, right.
And then I told him what I do, and then I just rattled off what I do, not expecting nothing of it. And then every few months and that he'd text me, buddy, I'm this clean. I go, oh yeah, and like. When I see it, I believe it. But yeah, that's great, mate. I'm with you. Just keep going, and because a lot of people just lie about it. Because it's because they got shame or something like that. They're embarrassed or something. And I went to the races one day. Anyway, so one of the blokes said someone wants to see you out the front, and. I've gone out there, and he's like, do you know who I am? And I said, yeah, of course I did, just fucking faking it, thinking, you know. Yeah. And he said, oh, can I have a chat with you? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm thinking it's for the races or something. We sat down, and he's another man.
Yeah.
He just started crying to me. He says, mate, you've saved my life. He says, you couldn't believe how much it is. And I go, whoa, hold on, fucking...
Yeah,
you got to tell me who you are. Let's start. I'll just talk shit to you then. He says it's blah blah blah. I said, oh, true. I said, anyway, we started talking recovery then, and mate, he's nearly 2 years clean now of just something I told him to do. He went from like nearly divorced and losing his kids, to like fishing, enjoying it. He's fucking the best dad in the world, kids loving him, to like being present for his kids, and he's helping others, you know.
I suppose that's the thing, like you said, as long as you can ask for help. A lot of people out there that are willing to help. Yeah,
that's right. But you got to know where to where to go to, you know. Like 12-step programs are a good start, you know, whether it's Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, if you've got a gambling problem, Gambling Anonymous.
Dan, did you have, like, when you got yourself to rehab, did you have people around you then to sort of not necessarily force you to go there and push you there, or was it a matter of you sort of just taking it on yourself to go in?
Well, at that stage, there was no one that really wanted to be around me. Yeah. You know, I was nearly homeless on the streets. You know, I was lucky enough that my parents were putting up with me enough just to hold me there until rehab. And the only reason they were putting me up with me enough is because they knew I was going to rehab. Yeah. You know, that's it. Shit. You know, and trust me, there was a few fucking homeless nights in that period waiting to go to rehab. It wasn't all...
What, where you just had nowhere to go?
Well, like, no, because, I'd be getting too drunk or off my head at home, and my parents would have to kick me out, you know, like... Yeah, they might even have to get the coppers to come and get me to take me away, you know. It was really... that's just what it was, you know.
And so... You're back in the last 3.5 years. You know, you've got your license again. You're riding again. You're doing well, and that kind of, I suppose, a lot of people would be wanting to know, like, how's the relationship with you and your son now? You know?
It's great. You know, it's challenging. Like there was a couple of years there where I didn't see him because I was doing work on myself and that and. I'm building a relationship up with him now. I call him once a week. I'm really I keep him in routine, so I'll make sure I call him at the same time every week. I see him every fortnight, and half the holidays and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
The relationship's growing. He loves me. I love him.
He's a little Dan.
Is he?
Oh, he looks exactly like that.
Flat out.
Trouble.
Tell you, it's tough. I tell you, it's tough. But like, mate, I'm there for him, you know.
Yeah.
I'm there for him now. When he comes to me, I just put the phone aside. I don't even have my phone with me. I'm 100% there. And
Yeah. So how old's he now?
he's 5.5.
5.5. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's bloody, it's amazing, eh?
Yeah.
Bloody-
He comes to track where Danny walks in there, he looks at you, how you going? Where's this little fucker?
Yeah, that's great. So is he close by? Like, is he living around
Yeah,
here?
he's lived in Brisbane.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
which is a big part of me moving up the Gold Coast here.
Yeah.
You know, just to be an hour closer to him. Plus, you know, the weights are a bit heavier down New South Wales.
Yeah.
So this sort of met in the middle, and I decided to move here, and this is, you know, where I'm going to base myself in
Yeah.
Gold Coast, and
Yeah.
you know where I'm going to stay. You know,
How do you, and what, do you set yourself goals now, or?
Yeah, like I've got, you know, I've got 10 goals that, you know, I carry them around with me. Like I got them in my wallet, the 10 goals, and
Yeah.
Are they a bit of a mixture? Like, you don't have to go into the 10 goals, but are they a mixture of sort of personal and professional goals, like on the track and off it, or are they all like, I want to ride 20 winners this season, or?
yeah, they've got, you know, at the top of my goals, goal number 1 is to stay clean and sober.
Yep.
You know, that's my first goal, and you know, and then it's just like, you know, the relationship with my son, you know, look and to be looking after him. That's my second goal, and you know, and then, you know, my goal for this season, you know, is to ride 40 winners for this season.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, for last season, you know, it was to ride 20 winners. You know, it was only my second season back. Like, you know, I'm setting my goals at, you know, I'm setting the bar low, like I've been taught. You know, you set the bar low, then you can jump it.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, achievable.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to be so hard on yourself. And you know, whether I make it to there or not, it doesn't matter. You know, like as long as I'm having a crack and, you know, doing my best, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and clearly you are. Like, it's...
Oh, it's remarkable, honestly.
Yeah, it's an incredible story, and to be back and doing what you're doing, and...
You probably don't see it, how much people,
Yeah.
like, honestly take their hat off to you. They do, mate.
Oh, of
They're
course.
so proud of you. And even, like, when I met your parents the other day, he walked out and said, "This is me mad mum." And I said, "Mad mum, what about the mad son?" She said, "Oh, fuck." They're salt of the earth people. They're good people. You can tell straight away how much they love you and care about you and so proud of you. So, and you're riding as good as anyone. Like, you're so strong in the saddle. You're riding winner after winner. I've got a group of mates who follow Danny because he always rides winners at big priced odds, so they're happy to keep following him.
Yeah, we will too now. Probably a couple hundred people listening to this podcast might as well. Are you giving him a bit of work, Campo?
Yeah, he's going
Looking after him?
I think he's got one next Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't need to ride work for us, mate. He's got enough. He's busy. He deserves everything that comes his way. It's a raw story. It's pretty incredible to listen to him and sit here today next to him. So I'm very proud of him. I've only known Danny for a few years, but see how far you've come as a person. It's awesome, mate. You should be proud of yourself.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah.
That's a great story, and we really appreciate you kind of coming on here and you know, voicing it. And like I said, I'm sure a lot of people will get plenty out of it. We'll put kind of links to places if you're ever dealing with stuff like this, guys, and you need to reach out or you need to speak to someone. We'll put links in the comments of or in the description of the potty here that you can kind of click and you know, reach out and engage. But
It ain't weak to speak.
Yeah.
And anyone's always welcome to, you know, send me a message or give me a call or anything like that. Like, you know, whether they're on drugs or they're not. Do you know what I mean? They can just call me and you know, and I'll point them to the direction would help me.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, if I can help someone, you know, get clean and get their life together like I have, would be remarkable.
Yeah. Oh, mate, you're a good bloke. And now you're on the Goldie. You know where we are as well. So
Yeah.
pop by anytime.
Yeah. No, it's going.
Don't worry, he fucking reminds me every time he rides a winner. He's fucking, I've written another one. New South Wales is getting easy. It's
Mate, it's going good at the moment. Like compared to where, like, you know, I started a couple of years ago, my career back to me riding now. Like, you know, me timing's back in.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sitting nice and low on them. I'm strong on them. I'm straight, and
Is there when you look back over the last few months and think, you know, that's why I love riding again, or is it something that sort of sparked you to keep going?
Yeah, well,
The big Sacred Falls cult when it won that day at the...
yeah, that was a bit of a mind blower, that fella. Yeah, but like...
We'll get the replay. That big
Divine Falls.
It come from nowhere, you know. But like, you know, what spun me out was that Surf Sonic at Grafton when it won for me. Like everything just went my way. Like I drew the widest gate. I ended up midfield one off, and then it just all the runs come and it just.
What'd you say in that interview?
Yeah,
This is brilliant.
Like I was at because I just didn't expect it, you know, and then. Because, like, yeah, I'm clean and sober and that now, like, yeah, I feel, like, my emotions, I feel them a lot.
Yeah.
And I was that excited for this, like, I swear, I went, oh, fuck, what a ride, you know?
What, on the
yeah, on the live interview, like...
It's on Facebook, we'll put it up.
I'll find it.
Classic,
We'll find
like, I was like... Yeah, I don't know, he said something to say, oh yeah, I just went, fuck, what a ride. Like, I was like reflecting on it, I just couldn't believe everything just happened, you know. I was just getting
raw,
lucky, but I
isn't
was
it?
like
It's just
claiming
pure.
it, yeah.
Yeah, look, it was a good win for the game. I did have the luck go my way, and geez, when we jumped in, sort of ended up on the fence midfield, mid-race, and I go, fuck, what a ride.
Yeah,
I still remember the next morning he came in, he said, did you watch that race? And I said, well, I didn't miss it because it's all over fucking Facebook. And he said, all right, I gave it the grouse.
I thought
A little bit of a back pat.
Yeah.
I went and apologised to Gaz and John. I said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to swear. I'm usually pretty good."
Yeah.
You know? And they come, mate, no, mate, it's funny. Oh, fuck, yeah, righto.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think
That's what racing needs.
100%.
Classic.
Yeah. Without a doubt. And like
We speak
you know,
about attracting young people to the game.
Yeah.
I love larrikins like Dan.
Yeah, 100%.
We need people like that. You need young kids. Like there might be young kids that are, could be doing anything with their life. They could hear Dan's story. They love Dan. They love racing. They think, Jesus, it opens up a lot of avenues for people to, seek help as well.
Yeah, and that's...
We sort of mentioned it on last week's show about having like football teams of supporting horses and jockeys and whatnot. I think, Dan, your story today, like a lot of people would be going, oh, Dan Peisley, like I remember listening to that podcast or hearing that
They'll
story.
become a Danny Paisley fan.
Don't forget about us when you get famous.
No, that's right, yeah.
We've got to get something signed or something in the office before you hit the moon. Yeah, so... but no, we appreciate that, mate, and we will obviously, like I think everyone listening to this podcast will watch the next stages of your career and hopefully an upward trajectory with quite a lot of anticipation. We wish you all the luck, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
100%.
Thanks for having me
3.5
today.
years.
Yeah, 3.5 years, yeah. Unbelievable.
Today. Unbelievable.
We are a punting podcast.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dan, you can't punt, but have you got a horse over that you've been riding work that you're keen to see at the track and you might steer the punters into that is just
where was that horse you
working
rode
the
for?
house down?
You rode a nice horse not long ago. I reckon it finished second or third on debut. Danny Bowen?
Yeah, it got bit shin. It went shinsaw, yeah.
It was a nice
and
horse.
went
I'll
out.
do that.
Yeah.
No, he's been riding some nice horses and getting the right opportunities, and he's making the most of everything. So, hats off to you, buddy.
Yeah, well, absolutely. If we know you're on the saddle, we know you give it all. I think a lot of people will be following you now, mate.
Yeah.
Beauty. All right, boys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.